It's not just a TV show. For some, it is a full-on obsession. Today, we're talking Survivor and the San Diegans who don't just watch, they turn it into an experience. Hi, I'm Marcella Lee, and this is The Backstory. From audition tapes to scavenger hunts to packed watch parties, this is what happens when fandom goes next level. So to mark the 50th season of Survivor, let's get into it. Joining me today are Joyce Trubin-Curry and Sean Curry, diehard Survivor fans. Joyce, Sean, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So for you two, when did this go from we like the show to this is part of our personality? Sean.
Actually, right away.
Right away.
Yeah, with all the whole fandom, the whole thing, and I think
in 2000.
Yeah, I think the nation was just glued to this thing, and just we were captivated, and we just watching it ever since. We actually have our Survivor nights.
I was too. We lived in Michigan at the time, my husband and I, and if we missed an episode back in 2000, we would have our friends who live in San Diego record it on a VHS tape, put it in the U.S. Postal Service, and mail it to us so we could watch it because there was no DVR back then and no streaming. Yeah, so we've enjoyed it from the beginning as well. Joyce, what made you guys hooked?
It was just something that was intrinsic. It was like a family night for us. One night a week, we made sure that we got together, and it happened to be watching Survivor. And we have watched every season, every episode since the very beginning. And over the time of it, you love you want to call them characters. They're casted, obviously, but they are somewhat characters of the show. And especially with the 50th, you get to see the people that you really enjoyed over the years, and they're back. And that's why the 50th, I believe, has so much lore to it.
It's so special. Now, producers held scavenger hunts around the country to get the fans involved, and you two actually went to Los Angeles to hunt for the idol. What was that like?
It was really amazing because they only did one idol hunt in each city. So if you think about it, you could have done Sacramento, you could have done San Francisco, they did LA. And that does make sense because Hollywood City, and that's where the CBS studios is where the finale will be. But it was just amazing because what the craziest part is how many people we met in line that went to other cities besides Los Angeles. They made it like their quest, their passion. They just made it an event. And truthfully, it made sense because the more cities you went to, the more of a chance you had to win tickets to the finale.
So we're looking at some photos and videos you put together. You got a shot at looking for the idol. Did you find it? And
yes,
we did.
Thought that people who found it automatically got to go to Fiji for the finale, but how did it actually work?
Well, what you did is, just one correction. It was actually one in every state.
Oh, okay.
So anybody that went to
you.
10 cities, that's 10 states they did. And I mean, there were some Facebook groups where people would literally do like 3 in a day. You're like, how did you do that? But that was a blast. They did come out with a riddle, and you had to solve it. And then that gets you to the spot. And then as you got there, you had some other ones along the way to figure out where it was at.
Did everyone end up finding the idol?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a lottery in the end?
That's correct.
Okay, so are you going to Fiji?
No.
No.
No,
Do you know how
not.
many people they ended up picking?
They picked 2 from each state.
Okay.
That Survivor editions or idol hunts were held in, and California was 49, and the 50th actually was New York City. So we were at the very, very end of the hunt. So hunts had happened all over the place, and there were Survivor contestants that you could run into along the way. For example, Coach was at the one in Las Vegas.
Okay, well, we could play the video again. It was so great that you put together, and I saw some familiar faces. There's Ozzy. Who else did you meet?
We met Austin. We did not meet Suri. She was there, but we had already found the idol, and it was very cool. I mean, it was at Griffith Park, and if you've ever been to Griffith Park, Balboa Park looks very, very small in comparison.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it was really, really well situated. And then when we found it, we heard Suri was there, and we're like, okay, it's been about 3 hours, so we did not meet Suri, but it wasn't. We could have, and it was just really cool because the fans were really excited, and nobody knew if there were going to be actual Survivor contestants there because there were at some and they weren't at others. And a lot of that information was shared on Survivor chats. So you kind of had a little bit of a know of what might happen, but not necessarily did everything happen at the Los Angeles one that did at others.
Oh, that's really cool. And you two, your obsession, as we talked about, goes back years. And actually here at News 8, we used to help host the auditions. And you two actually tried to get onto the show. I think we have some video of those auditions, and you said that this looks familiar because you were in that round of auditions.
I was. I auditioned at Liberty Station, and we had to go back and figure out the year. And it was
there you are.
It was really fun, and it was very long, and it was very cold, which is really funny because I'm wearing gloves holding my Survivor number, my audition number, and people are like, "Why are you wearing gloves in San Diego?" I'm like, "Because it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was very cold, and it was the winter." Still, I know it looks silly to people in the Midwest, but it was great, and people were just hysterical. They were eating like gummy worms in line for the Channel 8 cameras, and people, you just made great friends because you had nothing to do but stand there for hours upon hours. And it was amazing. You'll see a sign, one picture I shot said hour 1. There was hour 3, there was hour 4, there was hour 5 signs all the way through it. You really you were committed.
She got one of the last 3.
Really?
I got one of the last 3 spots in San Diego at the Idol Edition at Paradise at Liberty Station.
What did you do for your audition?
Well, you had to pretty much do a read like you would for any audition you do, say being a newscaster like yourself.
There you are.
Yeah.
That was my number. Yeah, they cut it 3 numbers after me. And unfortunately, all those people after me didn't get to audition.
Oh, my gosh.
But they waited.
Are you two still trying to get on the show? Sean, have you auditioned?
I have. I sent actually a couple of videos in. Just kind of doing goofy things, trying to show your personality, but you only have 3 minutes. I mean, how do you show your personality in 3 minutes? But you can do it.
What would make you a strong player?
I'm a lot like Christian. I'm an engineer, so I've kind of have that mind and look how the little pawns and how to kind of work people.
Kind of like a chess
Plus
game,
with the PR industry that we're in too, so they kind of couple that, so I can kind of be able to work those angles as well. So I think I had to have a good social game as well.
Joyce, you're a great people person,
Thank
especially
you.
in PR. Would that be your forte too, social game?
I think I would play a very good social game. I think I would. And I think also I'd like to believe, I'm told I'm an authentic person, and I believe that would resonate. I mean, you know me for a couple of decades now. But I think that it would be really cool because
I always think that'd be hard though, because you're authentic and loyal, but then at some point there's strategy in the
Yes,
game.
I think
you have to lie, maybe.
You do. That honesty, integrity that coach always talks about, that's out the window when you're in the game.
Yeah.
But you meet great
It's just
people.
out the-
You meet
out the
great
window.
people, like even on the audition process. And I got pretty far. I mean, obviously, you'd know if I was on the show. So clearly, I did not make the cast. But it was great. You just meet wonderful people out there. And like this one gentleman that was with us walking as we were traipsing through Griffith Park, he had auditioned 59 times.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. All right, it's time for us to take a quick break. Joyce and Sean, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a little bit. But
Thank
up next,
you.
we pass the torch to another super fan, keeping the tribe together right here in San Diego with packed watch parties. We'll meet him right after this break. Welcome back. So if you think watching Survivor at home is fun, try doing it with a room full of super fans. Joining me now is Nathan Fuhrer, the man behind some of San Diego's biggest watch parties. Nathan, welcome. So you've built some incredible fanfare around Survivor. You run weekly watch parties. Where do you meet and how big are we talking?
You know what? I'm so proud of this because we started with nothing. Nobody was doing something like this in San Diego, and it was crazy to me because, one of the top 10 most populous cities in the country, we don't have a watch party for Survivor. What's even happening? And, I'm a dad of 3 kids. I work full time, so does my wife, and there was not much time to make for this, but for Survivor, I made time. So I started from basically scratch.
Okay.
I reached out to a lot of places, and O'Brien's was the one that took the call, said, we see what you want to do, we'll partner with you. And no strings attached, just come on, show up, and it was great. So from the beginning, we started out hot. I thought we were going to have just a few of my friends and family. We wound up having, I think, 24 people the very first night,
Wow.
and that was about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Fast forward to this season 50, a big one, and we've gotten record turnouts for our premiere, which I knew was going to be huge. We had to pick a different location, so we went downtown to Tom's Watch Bar.
Because you were so big.
I knew it was going to be big. Our finale for the previous season was about 80 people,
Okay.
and it was getting too crowded in O'Brien's. So we wound up coordinating with Tom's. They said, come on in, and we had over 140 people show up to that.
Wow.
We had Survivor alum. We had puzzles and games and voting and all sorts of different fun twists that we included in the party, and
People
it's a really
can win
immersive thing.
things?
Yeah, we had things that were won, prizes, signing
Oh my
from
goodness.
alum. It was very immersive.
What alum show up?
We had 3 different alum. We had Jillian Larson from Survivor Gabon, season
Okay.
17. We had Leif Manson from Survivor One World. I think that's season 25, 24. I'm a little fuzzy on the 20s. And
That's
then we
okay.
had Brooke Garrity, who was on season 9, Survivor Vanuatu.
That's great. And I bet they just feel so loved and embraced too.
Yeah, it's really fun for them because, you know, you go on Survivor and for a minute you're everybody's attention and then it goes away.
Yeah.
And unless you're somebody that's transcending all seasons like a Boston Rob or
Sure.
a Sandra or whoever, a lot of these people, they just go back to their lives but they're still fans. Maybe they were fans before they were on
Sure.
and they want to be a part of it.
So I've seen some of the videos. What's the energy like? And you've now moved to Common Theory,
Yes.
which is near our station here in CBS 8.
Yeah, and we'd
Pretty
love to
amazing.
have you come by. We'd love to have as many people in San Diego as possible. Like I said, we're growing. This is about community, and it's an amazing experience. If you've only watched on the couch, you're missing out. Like Cerise said, I got off the couch and I played the game. You should get up off the couch and come see one of our watch parties and see what it's all about. It's electric. It's nothing like it. If you go to a sporting event, you
It's
know
like
it's
that?
different. It's different when you're there. If you watch it on your
Right.
TV, it's comfortable, but it's nothing like being there.
Are people like pointing at the screen and, oh, you should have done that. Why'd you tell her?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are some of the moments, and you can't predict it because you don't know what's going to happen each episode, but some of the moments when you're sharing those moments together, it's irreplaceable, and you'll never forget watching that moment with all your friends.
So Survivor 50 is the theme in the hands of the fans. Did you personally vote on anything that is now impacting the survivors playing? So when you watch, you think, oh, I voted to have couples voted out at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, I've been a fan since the very beginning, the first season. I kind of came in and out of it for a while, but, you know, full-fledged fan, found out about 50 and the voting. I had to participate, and some of the things I voted on didn't happen, but...
Did you vote on the couples getting voted out at the same time?
No,
Okay.
I think Jeff might have gone a little bit farther than what the fans got to vote on when they decided exactly how dynamic the twists were going to be.
Okay, last question for this segment. What's the big plan for Survivor 50, the finale? I know you invited everyone to come, but it's Wednesday, May 20th.
Right.
And you're hosting at...
Yes, we'll be at Common Theory
Theory.
again. We have some very big plans in store for that. They've partnered with us just seamlessly since we became too big to host at O'Brien's, and the basic idea is it's an 8 to 11 p.m. 3-hour finale. We're going to have something beforehand. I have some fun stuff up my sleeve for that, working with some Survivor alum to attend. Can't announce just
Awesome.
yet.
Okay, we'll
but
keep it a secret.
Stay tuned to what we're doing.
That's amazing. You know, you've really built a whole community around this. Do you still want to play? I know you've auditioned. Do you think you could win?
Yeah, for sure. I audition every year ever since I became a father, and my oldest is about to turn 9, so still waiting for that call back. But it's a dream of mine to play. I do think I could win. I have actually played fan-created games of Survivor before, and I've done well.
How old are your 3 kids?
The oldest is 8, middle boy 6, and youngest boy is 4.
Okay, so you're the dad of 3 boys.
Yeah.
That's a great transition because we're going to take a break right now. But when we come back, we're going to tell you why Survivor isn't just entertainment and what it can actually teach us as adults and also what it can teach our kids. Real life lessons. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are talking Survivor Superfans as we mark the 50th season of the award-winning show. Nathan, I love this part. You are now watching with your kids, and I've done the same. Mine are now in college, so sometimes I actually record it when I know they're going to be home for a break, and then I wait and we watch it together. What's it like for you seeing the show through your kids' eyes?
It's been really fun. I mean, every parent wants to share something important to them with their kids if they can, and you can't always do that right away. Maybe you can't do it ever. And for me, being able to do that with them with Survivor has been amazing. They get excited. In my family, we've made a rule that I kind of made up myself. When you're 5, you're old enough to watch Survivor.
Okay.
And so now the older 2 boys are watching. The youngest is asking, when can I get to watch? So this fall, season 51, he'll get to watch.
Oh,
And
that's
it's just
sweet.
been really nice. And they focus on different things. They're, younger, but they're starting to get a hang of some of the more dynamic social elements and what stories come up from what the players are talking about. And it's a really great way to start talking about more interesting, dynamic topics
How do
with
you
my kids.
explain, we teach our kids not to lie, not to cheat, not to steal. How do you explain it when the players do have to lie to one another?
I don't know if they've had any problem with that just yet, and I don't know if that's a reflection of how my wife and I behave, because we're very matter-of-fact and practical people. I think they understand that it's a game.
That it's a game, right?
And within the game, you play your hardest and you leave it out all on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get outwitted, then you get outwitted.
Right. It is a game. Do you ever say, this is a game? In real life, you wouldn't do that to your friend.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. And we will say, like, if there's questions about, like, oh, why did he say that, or why did she do that, we'll talk about it. But usually they understand, in the context of this game, this is what you have to do, and sometimes you have to be sneaky. And I gotta say, they kind of like the permission to be sneaky. So, I mean, which of us doesn't want to do
You're
that?
going to be in trouble if the three of them decide to form an alliance one day to try and get what they want against you and your wife.
I think
They're gonna be
it's
like,
already happening.
You taught us. Joyce, is there anything from this show that you use in real life, business or personal, that you and Sean have found, like, oh, we saw that in Survivor, let's do that, or let's not do that?
I think probably that the underlying is get to know people. And it does not matter what you do in life. You could be a news anchor like yourself. You could be an engineer like Nathan is, or work in public relations like I do. But the commonality thread through everything is get to know people. And that really is going to follow you through life. And it's just a really important asset just to stop and appreciate what you have and what's around you at any given moment in time, because as we all know, life just kind of flows right by. And if you haven't taken a stop just to go, wow, I really appreciate where I am, it was so cool to meet you, then that moment's going to pass and you're never going to be able to get it again.
It's interesting because I know in the past, during some tribal councils, the jurors have said, you didn't take time to know me, you didn't get to know me. And that could cost someone, even though they might have been the most strategic, physically robust player, they didn't have that social game, and it might have cost them $1 million because they didn't get to know people. So that's really interesting. Do you, Nathan, do you trust people more or less after watching?
Well, I gotta say, I come from a background where I think trust was hard to come by. And so I think inherently I am mistrusting of others. So in maybe that way, it's built into me to play a game like Survivor. But you have to trust people in this game in order to make it farther. You have to build relationships, like Joyce said. That's the only way you'll make it farther. And then at the end, you hope that what you did was enough, that you voted people out at the right time. But trust is a huge double-edged sword in this game.
It is. Joyce, has it affected you? Do you and Sean talk about trust?
I think it's just a wonderful platform to teach any kid, and I think you can learn that you need to value people and have trust in them at any age of life, regardless of what you do, be it you're a mom or be it that you're a senior, or it doesn't matter. It's a thread of commonality. But probably the other really intrinsic thing that's really cool about Survivor, that it goes back to Suri saying, I got off the couch.
Right.
Anybody can do anything. You just have to believe in yourself. And you look at all those strangers that get thrown together, and here they are, and they've got to make a society, and that's what Jeff Probst says at the very beginning of the show every season. But there's some truism. There's a lot of truism to it. Get off the couch. Don't just sit there. Be a participant. And it doesn't matter. I mean, like Nathan, yes, of course. Like I've auditioned a couple of times myself. It doesn't have to be Survivor, but if there's something you want to do, and I think Survivor brings that out, and I know this is where you're going, go and try and do it, because you can.
Yeah. I know for me, I see the human relationships form, and I know there have been several people really hurt through the years where during the game they think this is a lifelong friend, and then something happens and trust is broken, and this is a game, and this is a TV show, but these are real people that we're talking about. So I think I personally would have a trouble trying to decide between strategy and relationships. Like, if you were my best friend that I made on the show, but then people are like, well, my best friend that I've gotten to know for 4 weeks. I just think that would be hard for me to do, to kind of separate that.
I think you have to really think about it and keep in mind it is a game. It is a television show. A coach is a very good example. He is playing a cast. He's playing a persona. Is that pretty him in life? Who knows? But you've got to keep it in perspective that it is really somewhat scripted. There is ways that they will, as we all know, they'll edit the tapes to maybe make an element stand out maybe more than it did or less. So you've got to kind of keep it in check. a little bit.
All right. Who do you want to win real quick?
Aussie.
And Nathan?
Got to say, my fellow engineer Christian.
Okay, all right. We're taking one more quick break, but when we come back, one last Survivor challenge, rapid fire style. Okay, time to put your Survivor skills to the test. Rapid fire, no overthinking. Joyce and then Sean. If casting calls tomorrow, one word for your strategy.
Honesty.
Sean.
Authentic. Just
Okay. First move on the island, build shelter or find food. Joyce.
Build shelter.
shelter.
Lead the tribe or lay low?
Lay low.
Lay low at first, then lead.
You find an idol, you keep it secret or tell your alliance?
Keep it a secret.
Tell the alliance.
Ooh, strategy or loyalty?
Strategy.
Strategy. All right.
I would have a hard time with that. Thank you so much for joining us. This was really fun.
Thank
From
you.
San Diego watch parties to maybe Fiji one day, a Survivor hits season 50 and puts more power in the hands of the fans. For these super fans, it is not just a show, it is a community. Thanks for sharing your story. And that original buff from what season?
1.
Season 1. That's amazing. And this from season 50. We've covered it all. I'm Marcella Lee, and this is The Backstory.